got very quiet. You're eating your pizza.
You, you're
I,
goddamn right. You're goddamn right. And you know what? If I had not been in traffic, I would have bought. They have a T-shirt that says "Totally Radical Pizza" and it's done in it's tie dye and it's done in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles font. And if I would have bought that today. I thought about it because I looked up and I was like, oh my god, Ninja Turtles and pizza. There's a fucking picture of Michelangelo in the fucking dining room eating pizza. How is that not a sign?
it's a good sign.
Sorry,
No, it's
sorry. I
okay.
like pizza and I like Ninja
It's okay.
Turtles. I blame I blame the Ninja Turtles, honestly.
Don't blame the Ninja Turtles. Don't do that. You know, I'm gonna have to figure out one day, or maybe you have to do it on like PC, how people can change their thumbnail while they're live, or do a custom. Because usually I have to do mine afterwards. Um, but I'm just curious. Some people can do it when they're live. I can never find it on mobile because it just comes up with our little um, like our cover photo and stuff like that, just saying we're live and shit like that. But either way,
Next time you come down to Lawrence, I'm gonna buy you this pizza.
one day we're gonna have to literally just be together and do this live.
Hmm.
Like we're
We're
live, we're doing
trending
this.
that. We're trending that way.
Okay, I got a quick question for you before we get started. And this is,
Hmm.
we won't get into the details why. Um, but you mentioned you just switched to, you got new internet, blah, blah, blah. But you got the
I sure
NFL
did.
Sunday ticket, correct? Is that what?
I I do for free
Um,
for the whole year
do you have to have
on
YouTube
YouTube.
TV to get that, or is it just free separate? Do you know what
It's
I'm
part of my
saying?
YouTube.
So you
Yeah.
have,
So
oh, no, 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 no. Do you have YouTube TV? That one that has,
no,
that's cable. Okay. Because I
no.
know, because I don't, we canceled that like years ago because it just was expensive. But it's just part of your YouTube, but you don't
It's
need
part of
like
my
the,
YouTube. Yeah. So Verizon paid for it because I signed up with Verizon for internet, and they were like, oh, like let's get so like obviously your YouTube is connected to Google, so they connected. So now it's like a channel, and like I go to the NFL like channel, it's like and I see live games. The only game that I can't see is the
just the
fucking New
Pats.
England Patriots.
Because you don't get the out of market games with Sunday ticket.
What the fuck? Like,
Yeah.
I don't
That's
have
the,
cable. How the fuck am I supposed to watch the fucking Pats? Not that I want to.
wait, can I tell you something real quick? Because this is what I do, and I'm kind of looking into things. Now there is NFL, and I know it's an extra like $7, or depending on how big you're. But the NFL app, they broadcast. I think I told you you can watch the local games on the NFL app, NFL Plus. But you can listen to like out of market games, and that's what I was doing with Bears games. Pretty much, it wasn't on on TV or the main
Oh wait,
market
I can
game.
watch the Pats on the
You,
NFL like app
yes. So
for
look
free?
into it. There's well, it's not free. You got to pay for the. It's
Bullshit.
either $7 or $15. I'm just saying, depending on the plan. I'm
Oh,
just letting you know.
fucking NFL, man.
Yeah. So I'm thinking, but because there's one that also has NFL Red Zone. So, but I want to look into Sunday Ticket. I'm thinking about it, but I was kind of curious if how that went for you. But that just answers the question. I know, but you know what? We are starting soon, and why don't we just start? Yeah, we are live with our first sports
Oh
podcast.
yay,
Picks, parlays, and pizza. This, for
pizza.
those who don't know, this started out as a joke, and we had a video a while ago, and Soto did not understand how parlays worked, and
No,
so
I
I
still don't.
thought it would just be. We originally thought was we were just going to have him do parlays, which we're still going to do later on in the episode. But then I'm like, let's just talk sports in general. Let's, we've done movies, we've done video games. Let's have a sports podcast. So the idea is we're going to do this hopefully once every week. It
Hmm.
seems to be Wednesday nights because that's before the Thursday games. We'll talk a
Yeah,
little
why not?
NFL, maybe talk a little fantasy, but we'll make our picks, make our parlays, and just,
Hmm.
if people join us and want to give their opinion, great. But yeah, we just kind of want to do something different. And, we love sports. We love football. So if this works out and we want to do like other sports later on, baseball, but I think NFL it just works best because we love football. So uh,
We do, and it's on all the time. It's every week. Although, like our friends overseas are gonna be like, "Football? What the fuck?" It's American football, all right. It's the United States. We're very insulated. We don't understand soccer. I'm sorry, real football. So we just don't. We don't get it. Although I think I see soccer in the background of this picture right here, bro.
Yeah. I mean,
With like an
I
amputee or something. It's
yeah.
crazy.
This is just the generic one that I found. I was just like throwing money, throwing cash. You know how AI works. So let's not talk about that. Yeah, we're watching.
We
We're confused, but we're making money off of it. But yeah, no, I mean they do have a Brazil game this Friday, Green Bay and Philly. So they're definitely doing overseas. I know the Bears are going to be playing in Germany sometime this year, but we'll talk about that. But so the
Brazil. Oh
joke
yeah,
was,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Wow, I
yeah.
heard about that.
So it should be a good game. A lot of good games this first
Poor
week.
X, huh? Wow,
But
should be interesting.
but yeah, so we'll do some picks and parlays in a little bit. But we jokingly, we're like, we gotta throw pizza. Just the PPP. I don't know
Yeah.
why it was hilarious to me. But Soto, you're actually eating pizza right now. So why do
Oh,
you?
I sure am.
Let's do a shameless plug. That's not a sponsor, but tell us where you
Not a
get your
sponsor.
pizza from.
Not a sponsor. So
But you
I am
can be if you
eating.
want to be.
If you want to be, great, but no, you don't need to be. But garlic breath pizza, North Andover. I just picked up a 16-inch. It's New York style pizza. I just got a cheese pizza. I got it well done, which is my favorite way to have pizza. Just a little bit of char on there. I know we talked about this in our pizza thing, but
Video next
absolutely
week.
phenomenal pizza. Absolutely great. They only make pizza, meatballs, chocolate chip cookie, and a salad. That's all that's on their menu. And it's absolutely fantastic. It's one of the best pizzas in this area that I've had in a very long time. So it's great to have a local pizza place. Not all of us can travel to Santarpio's in Boston or go to New York. I think the best pizza I had in New York was called Grimaldi's, although I've had some really good pizza in Philadelphia as well. But
They
for
got good
local
food.
people, if you are around the North Andover area, garlic breath pizza is fantastic, and that's what I'm enjoying right now. I'm also drinking the Lunch IPA from Maine Beer Company as well. Again, not a sponsor, but I figure we're talking about football, we're talking about sports, beer and pizza. That's just
Well, I'm
as
gonna.
motherfucking American as it gets right now. So,
Well, I'm going to add to that just a little bit because right before we talked earlier today, I had my late lunch, and I'm like, I got to get in the mood too. I did not have pizza, but I did teriyaki wings. I got a little, Soto
ooh,
teriyaki wings,
oh yeah,
which I
wings
love.
are
And
yeah, of
I am
course.
not drinking beer. I am drinking a Sprite. That is my drink of choice right now. But that is what I'm doing. So, yes, that is our food take for today. Um,
Hmm.
but Soda, we this past week we both had our fantasy football lineup set. Our drafts happened, and I kind of want to talk really quick about it because by now most people have had their drafts. We're not here to tell. We're
I
just
hope
basically
so.
two idiots talking football. Please, this is just our opinions. There's nothing professional about this. Please, we're just telling you what we think. If you like it, great.
Nothing
But
professional.
sometimes you just need a fellow guy that just explains things, or gal, don't get me wrong, but I mean someone that doesn't
Hmm.
fully research. But yes, we both
I
had
certainly don't.
interesting
I'm just a
drafts.
regular guy.
We are regular people making regular
Hmm.
decisions. But
Yep.
yeah, so I just wanted to take a look at some of our teams and our thought process. So I want to look at my team first.
Sure.
Basically, mine
I
is a
prefer that.
12-team league. It's a two receiver, two running back, two flex, no kicker league. 12
Two
teams,
flex. I like
two
that.
flex, which, 6-man bench, you kind of have to really, nail the draft. Um, Now, I had the third pick, and if people see, I have Christian McCaffrey at third. Now, I want to share this quick story that the number one pick, I know, and this is through work, and I work at a post office, but he had the number one pick, and he was going to do Christian McCaffrey. He got online. He had a small issue, making picks. He's doing from a tablet. He couldn't do draft now. The mistake he made was the fact that he was filling his queue up with third and fourth rounders to watch for later. And
Oh
since he
no.
couldn't make a pick and he didn't
You're
fix it,
kidding me.
no. You know who his first pick was?
No, tell me
Debo
who.
Samuel.
What the
So
fuck?
now we're in a
What
group phone
the
chat too, and
fuck?
he kind of just he couldn't figure it out, and I'm like, and I was like, well, why don't you practice? So a couple of us are like, hey, if they restart the
Oh,
draft, I understand. I'm like, but if it
nightmare.
gets too far, I'm like, we can't restart it. And this is to me, if you are going to be part of a draft live, do not use the queue option. Because things can happen. I could have
No.
taken a phone call, because it will draft the first, the best available option. So yes, that's his first draft. The second pick, who is the wild card. Like he does the crazy shit, goes for the long reaches. Like so he's like the wild card. You know, like at the poker table, you don't know what's going to happen. But
I
so
hate
it's
guys
either
like that.
he'll either hit real high and be dominant or just fail. Like last year, he just failed big time. But he took what was it Brees Hall, number two pick, which
Not terrible
at number
given
two
your league. You have two RBs. Like number two's high,
it is. But here's the
especially with
thing.
McCaffrey.
So before the draft started, I was at the number three, and I was like, all right, I figured McCaffrey was one because we talked about it. So I'm like, whatever, Tyreek Hill or CD Lamb. I'm like, whoever falls
Hmm.
to me, I'm like, I'm just going to take best available. Like, and
Hmm.
I'm now looking at all three at the number three spot, and I'm like, I can't pass at McCaffrey at three. As I
I
had
couldn't either.
Tyreek Hill, CD
Hmm.
Lamb was like I know is a good choice, but because I always like to go wide receiver heavy, especially in a two flex league, and especially the way wide receivers are now. So I nailed my draft after this. I got an A plus. My only complaint was towards the end. I didn't fully research like defenses, um, and other
Ah,
stuff. I know I like to
fucking
have it.
cares about
Well,
that
no,
shit,
because
dude.
because I like to get ahead of it because I will tell you I'm the guy that looks to the playoffs and see which defenses are strong, and that's how I make it at the end of the year. So I did pick Dallas. I had the backup running back for the Pats because as a joke that was my last pick. I'm like I don't need him, so I dropped him to pick up Seattle. That's why, and I'm
Hmm.
starting Seattle because they're playing Denver first week and Pats the second week, and that's just a strong 1-2 start for my
Oh yeah,
defense that
Pat's
I don't have to
offense
worry.
is going to be
But I could
atrocious.
just flip flop, and
Oh,
then I actually did not. I felt I did not need my backup tight end because that was my thought, and Komet was the best option. But I think the Bears' offense are going to look a lot different this year, and Komet will have maybe one or two good games, but overall not. So I dropped him, and I took more of a handcuff. I did take like Ray Davis, the backup at the Bills, because you know what? At the end, you got to take those chances of the people who might step up because one injury, that can change your team. So yeah, I liked the way my draft is. Zach Moss, I have as long as he's been named the number one. His point value has actually gone up, but him and Chase Brown. So yeah, I like my team. I'm very happy with the receivers I ended up. I Kenneth Walker, I got like later in like the fourth or
that's a
fifth
good
round.
pick.
So I
That's a
have a
good
good
pick.
1-2 running back situation where I can just leave them there, and
Yeah.
then so yeah, I like it. I'm actually playing a very strong opponent, but we both have a top two, so it'll be interesting. But yeah, this is my draft. I was very happy. Yeah, at the end, I usually
Yeah.
try to get handcuffs, and I did not pay attention. I wish I would have got Mason just to have the backup to McCaffrey just in case. But
I tried. Somebody else got him.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's a good one, and I did not realize I like as much as I nailed the beginning. At the end, I really try to play a little smart and just try and play value. And I was just like, oh fuck it, Herbert's there, which I probably will actually get rid of Herbert after the first week, depending on how things go, because again, the Bears are looking different. But at least I have space to play with. I hate having too many people and then trying to get rid of dump a good player just to fill in a bye week. So, but
So
yeah,
quick aside,
yeah,
because you're a Bears fan.
yeah.
Okay, well established. Um, the Bears going to be as good as people are saying?
So here's the thing, and this is going to come a little bit later with our picks and parlays because there is a couple Bears picks in there, and I'll explain why. It's tough to say right now, but here's the thing that I know people get Bear shit. It's been since Lovie Smith left in 2012. That's when the Bears went to shit. So the last 12 years, I know long
Whew,
history
that's a long
joke
time,
about no
bro.
QBs, but they've had strong defenses. They've actually made the playoffs a bit, but here it's all on Caleb Williams. But what I've liked is Ryan Poles, the GM, he did not give up to move up, or he's not giving up picks, and that's the problem the Bears always did. Like when they got Mitchell Trubisky to move up one space, they
Oh,
gave
what
up.
a
But
pick!
I mean, I hindsight, but at the same time, they gave up picks to move up, so they couldn't build around him. Justin Fields, they moved up, they gave up picks. So Ryan Poles is playing it smart because if Caleb Williams does not pan out in the next 2 years, they have a very strong nucleus where they get like, well, let's see if we can sign a veteran. Let's see if we, something else to come in. And instead of, they will not have to go into a rebuild mode for a while. They just signed DJ Moore to the highest contract in Bears history for the next 4 years. I, so I like what he's doing. The Caleb Williams thing, I always say, yeah, people love him or hate him. College is one thing, the NFL is another. So until I start seeing
My
him
God,
play
yeah.
actual games, I'm not going to comment. Obviously, I hope for the best, but even if he fails, I feel Ryan Poles set it up where it won't backtrack us like 3 or 4 years, which has happened. Like, okay, well, now we got to do a rebuilding. Now we got to do rebuilding. So yes, I think the Bears are you're gonna see more pass. Hence why, like I said, Herbert is just the backup running back because they have DeAndre Swift um, as well. So it's going to be interesting. But their
So,
offense is
well,
going to look different.
the division seems to be wide open. So, okay, and fill me in where I'm wrong here, but you've got the Packers, who I'm like, meh. Um, you've got the
Yeah,
Vikings, who, like, I'm sorry, Sam Darnold. I've never. I get it. Justin Jefferson went high and everything, but Sam Darnold is not Kirk Cousins, so that's kind of whatever. Although Minnesota's defense seems to be up there. And you got the Bears, and then who's the other team in the North
Detroit.
Division?
Detroit, the one that went to the
Oh
NFC
my God.
Championship
Okay,
last
we'll
year.
talk about that.
So
Oh,
I
okay.
don't
So it's
think I
all
think
right, we'll
the
talk
division
about that.
the
All right,
division's
perfect.
up in the air, but it's a stronger division than it has been. You're right. The Vikings to me is
Well, a
the
lot of
worst team.
people are picking the Lions
I,
to go to the Super Bowl.
you know what? You know what?
We'll talk about it
No. Well, here's the thing. I was
because
going to
my team
surprise
is
you at
the
the end.
Lions. Spoiler
I
alert!
know.
Spoiler
So
alert!
speaking of which, let's go to your team. Let's take a look at your fantasy team real
I
quick.
drafted the Detroit Lions. I didn't even
So
know what division they're in.
so here, so here's your team, and you had the second pick
Uh,
overall, correct? Am I?
I did,
Yeah. So
and
explain what happened.
yeah,
Go ahead. I'll give you the floor for this one.
yeah. So I was kind of like you. I was Tyreek Hill was who I had in mind. CD Lamb, I never thought about drafting him because these guys who tend to miss training camp. I know Jamar Chase is potentially going to be playing this weekend. These guys tend to either start slow or get injured. I don't know. That's just my feeling on it. So I was dead set on Tyreek Hill. But when the first pick of my league went CD Lamb and Christian McCaffrey fell to me, I just didn't want to overthink it. So I picked Christian McCaffrey um, with my first pick, and I'm fine with it because he's going to get receptions. I'm going to have PPR, so I'm cool with that. But then I found myself with the second pick just kind of running out of wide receiver options, and that's kind of what sort of handicapped my team. I did still get an A+ draft from Yahoo, but that's AI. There was a guy last year who got an F, and he ended up in the top two at the end of the year because it's not just a draft. It's like you got the waiver and the trades and everything like that. But that's where I felt my team was weakest, is that I just was scrambling for wide receivers. I went in with a wide receiver mindset, but as soon as McCaffrey fell to me, I completely threw
And
it
he
out the
only fell to
window, and it
two,
fucked up.
but you're right.
Well,
You
but
have to. You
it fucked
have to
up
take
my whole
McCaffrey.
entire thing. Do you know what I mean? Because it's like it fucked. Because if I had Tyreek Hill, I could have found value in the later rounds with running backs. But and you can see right here, I have three wide receivers and one
And one
running
running
back. So I
back and
can't
one
go
flex. Yeah.
right. So I can't go too heavy into running backs because it's like I just have the other flex for the running back. So really when I'm drafting running backs in this format, I'm looking for draft capital essentially. I'm sorry, trade capital. So I just kind of found myself. It threw me off, and I had to make the picks that I made. My strategy was to draft the highest value where I was picking, and going with that kind of strategy. And I do that all the way to the end until my bench is filled out. I don't pick a kicker and my defense until like the last two picks. I just pick whoever is left because I want to make sure that I have every single spot filled, even in my bench. I'll probably drop Mims. I'm not gonna lie, but
Yeah.
Pearsall, he got shot. I figured it was good luck, so that's my good luck like charm on my team. Because he got shot. Him getting shot caused some of his teammates to like sign that were holding out too. I think their lineman that signed to the 49ers was like, I'm signing because, this is blah, blah, blah. They all kind of rallied around it. So I'm hoping that my fantasy team also understands that he got shot and that they will rally around his recovery. Even if he does get better in 4 weeks, he's low on the depth chart. But if something happens to Ayuk or number one pick
Samuel.
Debo, then that pick will be okay. But I was able to put him immediately on the IR, so I have an open spot in case there's something that happens with the waivers after the first week. So it gives me a little bit of flexibility. But yeah, I'm not feeling the whole like four players Detroit. I would have picked a different kicker. I usually just pick kickers on the names I like. Like there was a kicker named Dicker, but then he got picked, and
It
I
pissed
was
you
like, ah,
off.
fuck. And then my other favorite kicker, Gay, got picked too. I usually go with Gay all the time, just based on his name. and he got picked. So I picked. I wasn't thinking about having four Detroit players, but
But you ended up
here we
there,
are.
yeah. So I will
Here we
agree with
are.
you. I do agree with you. In the leagues I've had kickers, I always pick kickers last round. I mean, to me,
Dude, there's
it's
no
a hit or
way.
miss. But I
Why?
disagree with defense. Like I said, I mean, it's tough, especially because you're in a 16-man league. And that's where it's tough because that means, if you think about the top half of defenses, and if someone has two, so I don't know that, I mean, I'm not saying I'm picking the middle of the draft, but, second, even like third to fourth last round, if you see that defense there, because having a strong defense can definitely get you through some games. But yeah, I'm looking at your Detroit Lions. You got the receiver there from Green Bay, Watson, Minnesota defense. You are very NFC North heavy. So when they
I'm
play
all
each
about the
other,
NFC North, buddy.
it's
I'm
gonna be
all about the
it's gonna
North
be
division.
if you did have the Minnesota, I mean, when Minnesota plays Detroit, it's like, well, what do you want to do? But
Yeah, that's a
it's
great point.
yeah.
I don't
Me
know what I'm gonna
personally,
do.
well, no,
Yeah,
you'll figure out when the time comes. You got to go week by week, and there's not much you can do. Obviously, you can play like the waivers right now. I think, like you said, you have the IR. You can pick up someone, take a shot. Um, yeah, no, I mean, I'm
yeah.
looking at your team, and you're right. It's Lions heavy. Moss, kind of, I have Moss as well. So hopefully, if he has the starting job, if he does well more than Chase Brown, at least you'll have a little capital there. Montgomery, that could be tough, because what they have Gibbs as
Yeah.
well, and that's the big one.
Yeah, and
So
he's kind of dealing with injury, but I cannot get the fuck away from Mooney. I drafted him on the fucking Bears. He was available at Atlanta, and I'm like, fuck my life. I have Mooney. But thankfully, he's not starting in my team. Or thankfully, I don't have anybody like shitty, like fucking Calvin Ridley on my team handicapping my ass. So maybe with Mooney and Kirk Cousins,
give it
there's a
time.
connection
It's
there.
hard to see. Yeah, well, you got to see how the first couple of weeks go, and that's when you kind of start setting up your team or dropping who you know.
But
Um,
I didn't feel
yeah,
like I felt like Laporta was a reach for me. He was there, he's available, he was great value. Um, but if I had just drafted a wide receiver, I could have gotten other tight end value. Tight ends were deep this year, I thought.
yeah.
But I just panicked, and the panic when I panic, I go for value at the picks that I'm at, as opposed to thinking because I'm like, oh my god, I'm panicking, oh my god, because you're drafting in a 16 team league and you're seeing all these great players go, and you're like, oh my god,
And you were second, and that because
what am
once
I
you
gonna
got that second pick, is
do?
what that's 14. That's 28 picks before it comes
Yeah.
back to you, and that's the
Yep.
pro. I mean, it can pay off if you win and you draft and you get the waiver wire is
Hmm.
correct, but it's tough. Yeah, I mean, 30 picks. I mean, like I said, 26 picks. It's insane because personally,
It's huge.
I hate to take. I'm never the one to take the first QB or the first tight end. I let someone else take it, then I start seeing how to play out. So when I ended up with, as you saw, Dak Prescott, because it was kind of like the end of that tier. Then I was seeing the next line of QBs after that. I'm like, ooh, I don't know. So I take him, and then I ended up with Kittle later than I expected. He was available, and I'm
Again,
not,
he was
and I.
available. I could have taken him,
Yeah,
as
I mean
opposed to
Laporta, he
yeah.
had a great year last year, so it might have been a reach, but I mean,
But I
it
got a
depends
good
on.
backup. I mean, like decent backup. Josh
Yeah,
Allen was there, and Josh Allen, I do this thing called beer sheets, where it kind of shows like it rates each player based on like how many points they would get versus like somebody on the bench. And Josh Allen was right up there with Jalen Hurts. There was two, by far and away, the two best quarterback options if you're going to like be able to get them. And so I felt like I was going to get a lot of good value from Josh Allen. I know he doesn't have the weapons that he had. I know your pick. Um, you picked one of the guys here. I want to say
Shakir,
his
I
name
have
is
him on the
Shakir.
bench. Yeah, I
I
kind of
tried
he
to
was
get
another
him
like,
too
yeah,
because he's gonna pop because there's a lot of with the Bills losing so many wide receivers, they have a lot more receiver receptions to go around. And he was a pick of mine that I was targeting, and somebody else took him, and it sucks. But when Josh Allen was there, I was like, you know what? Yeah, like it was Josh Allen and Jalen Hurts. If you're gonna go for a top quarterback, that's who you go for. Mahomes is even fallen down. So like you have like Josh Allen who's gonna get 5.8 more points than his bench, and then it goes down to Patrick Mahomes, who only really is gonna get you 3 points more than like your regular guy.
but
So
like you said, because your receivers, it got unfortunate with your situation, so you needed that
yeah.
strong QB though. You needed like one of those, like you said, Hurts, Allen, or even Mahomes. Um, because if you
Somebody
get
that
to
was
the
going to
mid
get
or
me
low
something.
mid, yeah,
Yeah.
because then you're in trouble. Because your running back situation, like McCaffrey, injury aside, Montgomery, you don't know how that's going to be, and like I said, Moss. So hopefully, yeah, a couple of your receivers breaks out and see what happens. But yeah, you
I'm
know what?
bank on
Let's go
Mooney.
for you. Go Lions. Even just go
I'm all
Lions.
into the Lions. I never thought I'd be from Detroit, and here I am. Not a single Patriots player on my fucking team.
And sometimes, it's I always hate starting Bears players or picking Bear. I know I picked Justin Fields because it was a good spot for me last year,
I did
and
too.
he
Yep.
had some good games, and he was going to
He
win. He
did.
won me some games, but he also lost me some games. But it's hard, to draft your team if you got to start him. Like I know even though I traded or cut Komet, like I'm not too worried, and those are picks I'm not highly on. The Bears defense was the only one I was like I wanted to grab if depending on the spot. Someone actually grabbed them before I did that. That's why I ended up with the Dallas D, and then like I said, I picked up Seattle and the waivers afterwards. So, but anyhow, Soto, here's our week one, lineups. Like we said, tomorrow, is game one, and we got the Brazil game, Friday, but so we are going to kind of start with picks, our first parlay in a way, and we're only going to talk about the 1 p.m. game because we didn't want to do like a 16 pick, parlay,
No,
16 leg parlay.
I
But
don't even like
so
parlay. Like I don't like sports betting, as I discussed in a previous, thing that we did. That's the whole reason why we're doing this. Because I'm like, I don't. All the conversations I have with people about parlays. So I mean, we'll get
But so what
into
we're
it.
gonna
But
so
yeah,
basically what's gonna come down to do is this and how it's gonna work every week. We're not spending a lot of money on this. We're literally doing dollar parlays. We don't care. We're not big betters like Soto just said, but we want to have a little fun with it. So we're going to do one parlay where both of us are combined, where we might pick certain games or maybe over unders. Today we're just picking straight up winners, and then I gave Soto some parameters. He did a 4 leg parlay, and I did my own 4 leg. We're just having fun with it. We'll tell you what the odds are, but we honestly we're just putting $1 on it. That's just us. Like I said, we're not big betters, we're not big spenders, but we want to have fun with it, and so this is what we're doing. So Soto's idea might change a little bit with coming parlays, but it's just like fantasy. It's just a different way to just what to root for on weekends. But right now, we're looking at the 1 p.m. games, and we're just going to pick up straight up winners. Soto took 4 games, and I took 4 games. We'll kind of keep a running tally, and we're going to debate it. But whoever, even if I disagree with Soto's pick, that is the pick we put in the parlay. Because there is one, Soto, which we're going to get to, that I can't believe you picked, but we're going to talk about it. So, but anyhow, I'm going to
I'll
give
tell you
you.
exactly why I
No, no,
picked
no.
it too. Like, don't
We're
worry.
not. I think I know why, but we'll get to it first. So I'm going to give you the first, your first game, and obviously we're going to start with your team. Let's talk Bengals and Pats. Who would you pick to win and why? And yeah, let's just go from there.
I mean, I'm pretty sure I picked the Bengals on this one
I couldn't see how you
because
could
the
not pick the
Patriots.
Bengals.
Yeah, I mean the Patriots are going to be terrible this year. Drake May is on the bench. I mean, this is just a no-brainer right here. The Patriots are going to be awful. I don't know how their defense is going to be. I mean, these are the dark days for the New England Patriots. So it'd be hard. I'd be hard pressed to pick them in any sort of situation. I will pick them eventually when they go against the Jets because I hate the Jets. Um, although I still think they'll lose that game. Although the Jets, I mean, Aaron Rodgers, he could sneeze and tear his ACL. So who knows?
Yeah,
But
true.
I see no way that the Patriots beat the Bengals unless Jacoby Brissett gets injured and Drake May comes in on a unicorn and just has like one of the greatest Patriots games of his life. I really cannot see the Patriots winning this game.
No, and I actually agree with you. You're right. This is like going back to the early, 80s, late 80s Pats, when they
Okay with
were
that?
even the early 90s, so it happens. It's been a long time since the Pats had to do a serious rebuild, and obviously once you have the greatest of all time, it's dark days. I mean,
20 years, 20
20
fucking
years.
years of
Yep.
greatness.
Yep. And
Okay,
now
that's half
and
of
now
my life. All right, I'm fine with this. Like people are like, "Oh, I can't fucking believe this." I'm like, if the Patriots never win another Super Bowl again, I'm gonna say this right now. For the rest of my life, I'm satisfied.
yeah, you got all you need is like that one. I mean,
I
and I
had the
hate to
greatest
change
moments
sports,
ever.
it's like basketball. The Chicago Bulls had Michael Jordan, greatest player to ever do it. won
Hmm.
6, and you know what? What have the Bulls done since? Derrick Rose injured, but anyhow, but I agree with you. Bengals, I mean, I cannot see any way they lose to the Patriots this game. So,
No, I
um,
can't. Not at all. That's a no-brainer.
so we're going. Next game is one of my picks, and because it was Bears, I decided to take this one. Maybe some weeks we'll flip flop, but I had to. I know we spoke earlier. The Bears' offense is looking a hell of a lot different. Their O line has gotten better. I'm not going to say they're great, but they're good. Obviously, they added a lot of receivers, tight ends, an extra back, and it
Hmm.
all is on the back of Caleb Williams. But I am going to say this, even wasn't Caleb Williams, the Titans are just not there yet. And the Bears defense, what they did last year, the last 6 to 8 games, people forget, but
Hmm.
Eberflus changed that defense when he took over play calling. And I know they brought in Waldron to be the offensive coordinator, so Eberflus is going to probably concentrate more on defense. I think the Bears defense is going to kill the Titans. If Caleb Williams, he doesn't even have to go all out, but he's going to want to prove himself as the number one pick. So again, there's a few teams obviously I would take the Bears as losing, but against the Titans and in Chicago, I'm sorry. I honestly have to pick the Bears winning this one against
Hmm.
the Titans. I can't pick the Titans. Your thoughts?
Yeah, no, the Bears, as long as I've been alive, have been a defensive team. Although I will tell you that one of my favorite Patriot memories is Tom Brady juking the shit out of Brian Urlacher. Uh, fucking Brian Urlacher, who's just getting juked out by one of the slowest fucking quarterbacks in the history of football. That is my favorite Bears memory and pass memory of all time. But Bears always been known for their defense. Again, hopefully they can strike gold. The quarterback. I've never known the Bears to have a good quarterback.
Technically, Cutler
Um,
is the best quarterback statistic wise.
yeah, that guy was
Technically,
stoned all the time. Like he just looked
probably.
like he was checked out. But fucking Mitch Trubisky, I don't fucking remember the Bears having any good quarterbacks like at all.
No, they haven't.
Um,
A lot of people say Jim McMahon was the best. He was a good game manager, and he had a
guy was
great
on
flamboyant.
cocaine.
So were most of the '80s.
Oh my god, dude, that guy was on coke the whole time, dude. And yes, they beat the Patriots in the
That's my
80s.
favorite.
It's like there's this weird like history with the Bears, the Patriots. But yeah, no, I
Against the
can't see any reason why the Bears would drop this, especially they're going to be contending I think against the Lions. Although the Lions do seem like they're kind of in a tier above. But
I
I'm
agree.
pulling for the
I
Bears,
agree.
man.
I agree.
Look, I always will pull for underdogs. I've always liked the Bears uniforms, even like back in the day, before I was a Joe Montana fan. I liked the Bears because I liked like their uniforms. And people were like, the Bears are going to get crushed by the 49ers. And I was like, what? Then they did, and then I converged to the 49ers. But I remember liking the Bears when I was a little kid. So, yes, thumbs up.
All right. So the next game we're going to look at is one of yours, and we are going to look at the Vikings versus the Giants. Your thoughts, and who do you think is going to win this one?
I'm pretty sure I picked the Vikings on this,
You did.
correct?
Yes.
Okay.
If I got to
Because
remind you who you picked, that's not good. But yes, you did pick the Vikings to beat the Giants.
yeah, I got them picked against the Giants. Obviously, I choose their defense too. My fantasy team. I can't imagine. I know that Sam Darnold. I just shitted on him like earlier in this like talk, but I cannot picture. I know they're on the road too, but that Giants team is just a piece of shit. So, and the Giants have. I hate the New York Giants as a Patriots fan. They beat us 2 times in the Super Bowl. Fuck Eli Manning. You're not going to get, by the way, any sort of like football analysis from me. It's all just going to be emotional. Be like, fuck the Giants. They're not winning. I'm going with the Vikings. So
And as we said
I just
earlier, we're
think they're
just
gonna.
regular guys giving our opinions. Don't always agree
Yeah,
with
fuck
us.
the
We're just
Giants, dude. Fuck the Giants. Fuck everything about the Giants. Fuck Eli Manning. Fuck like David Tyree, where the fuck he
Daniel
was.
Jones.
All that shit. Daniel Jones. Like fuck the New York Giants. They're losing this game. That's it. That's my fucking take.
All right, I actually agree
It's
with
like
you.
it's like a
Beside
bar.
the
It's
take,
like
I
a
can't.
drinking beer and be like, "Fuck the Giants, dude."
Fuck 'em. No, I agree with you.
Mhm.
Vikings have to beat the Giants. Giants have been shit, and I do not see them getting any better anytime
Nah.
soon. All right, the next game we're going to look at is a divisional game. It's the Houston Texans versus the Colts. This is one of mine.
Ooh, this is gonna be a good one.
It's going to be a good one. It's going to be a little shootout, but we know C.J. Stroud showed up last year. and I think he's
You sure
only
did.
getting better. I don't think
Yeah,
he's
I
going to
agree.
regress. I know some people, wonder. Colts, Anthony Richardson. We're going to see how he does, and I think because of the injury and he's kind of getting back at things. I'm giving C.J. Stroud and the Texans this week one. Now we'll see how the Colts do because they have a strong team, but I think it's going to take a little bit for Richardson to get going. But I do
Hmm.
think this is going to be a high scoring game. But yes, 100%, I think the Texans are going to beat them. Something along the lines like wouldn't be surprised to see like a 35-28 kind of game. So I honestly think it'll be high
Oh,
scoring.
so a shootout.
Yeah, well, in Richardson is going to be running around because he wants to prove himself too. I just think C.J. Stroud's going to go hands down, which works for me because I got Collins on my fantasy, so give him a touchdown or two, and I'm set. So, but yeah,
I feel like this is the game of the week right now, honestly, right?
from I can't remember some of the other ones. There's a few interesting ones later times. I know. But there might be one other one that we're going to discuss that might be up there for game of the week, depending on how you view a team. And it's actually going to be the next one after this. But do you agree with me? Texans beat the
Yeah,
Colts. All
I
right, so
do. I
we're
do.
4-4 in agreement so far. But this next game could be one for a game of the week as far as the 1 o'clock ones, because I know people might shit on the Jaguars, but yeah, it's Trevor Lawrence. But anyhow, this is one of your picks. So who'd you pick between the Jaguars and Dolphins?
I'm pretty sure I picked the Dolphins on this one.
You did.
Um,
I got to remind you who you picked. That's okay. Yes, you picked the Dolphins, but explain. Go ahead. Go ahead. Why?
the Dolphins. I mean, come on now. The Jaguars are a fucking poverty franchise. Um, Trevor Lawrence, I think, is still the only real quarterback starting from that draft class. I think.
Correct. He's the only one with his
Um,
team. The other four are
right,
all different
exactly.
teams.
If anything happens to Trevor Lawrence, you're going to get a lot of Mac Jones. And let me tell you, as a Pats fan, that's not a good recipe. Although I think that he's the third string quarterback, right?
I'll be honest. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if he fell to third. I've not paid that much attention to the Jaguars.
Uh,
But yeah,
Now, Dolphins are going to be right up there with the
yeah.
Bills in the AFC East, um, with Tua and Tyreek
And
and
Waddle. Yeah.
Waddle, and I love the head coach too. I forget his name for the Dolphins. He's just such a hipster dude. I just think the Dolphins are on the rise, and the Jaguars are just going to continue. I mean, the Jaguars haven't been fucking good since what the fuck?
Last
Who is
year,
that?
they made the playoffs last year.
But would you say they were good?
Good enough to make the playoffs. I mean,
I mean, look,
there's good in the, yeah. So I mean, I wouldn't say they're good enough to make it far. They have that. I think last year they had the huge comeback against. Coincidentally, was it against Miami? I don't even remember. They're in the up, but
yeah,
it's tough because Jaguars is one of those teams that can definitely shoot it out. I agree with you though. Dolphins hands down. I mean, we saw their
Dolphins
offensive
are
powers,
just a solid team.
and
Like, they're going places. So, yeah, I can't imagine that the Dolphins would drop this at home. It's a battle of Florida, but the Jaguars are just a piece of shit. Sorry, that's my take. Jaguars
well,
suck ass.
we can all have our takes. All right, so the next
That's
game,
a
this
take.
is an interesting one.
Fuck the Jaguars.
Steelers and Falcons.
Oh,
So this is going to
I know who
be
I'm picking.
a sloppy game, but and I could almost coin flip this. I can,
What?
well, the Steelers defense is still there, but I am picking it is against the Falcons. I mean, outside of running. But anyhow, I did pick the Falcons. There's just no way the
Oh,
Falcons
good,
can lose.
good.
No. I was just saying. I think the Steelers are going to make this more of a game.
Who's their quarterback?
The Steelers, Russell Wilson.
Oh, give me a
Russell Wilson.
fucking break, dude. No,
I mean,
and
Justin
their
Fields is
backup
back.
quarterback is Justin fucking Fields. Get the fuck
Yeah.
out of here with this shit. This team
Well-
is a fucking. That's another loser team. Is the fucking Pittsburgh Steelers. Holy shit, man! Like, you're a Steelers fan. I'm sorry for you. That team's gonna suck for a while. You guys haven't had a quarterback. What the fuck? When's the last time you had a fucking quarterback?
Ratzenberger.
Even he sucked. Well, he did have two.
But he
Super
won
Bowls,
two
I guess,
Super
didn't he?
Bowls,
I don't know how, man. It's one of the fattest quarterbacks I've ever seen in my life.
and yet he
Um,
he could sling it. But yeah, no, I mean, I had to go with the
Kinda.
Falcons. They got Bijan Robinson, and there's a little bit
Yes.
by yeah. So I mean, do not get me wrong. I think the Falcons are going to run over the Steelers.
Oh,
Literally run.
yeah,
I don't
dude.
think it's going to be a passing game, but it is going to be a dogfight. Like, but I can't see the Falcons losing.
No,
Before we
I
go
can't.
to the next one, Angry Dad Gaming, nice of you to join us. We are looking at the 1 o'clock games. If you missed it earlier, we are doing an 8 pick parlay. So we will not be talking about the Eagles Packers this Friday, but I will
Oh,
throw it in there. It is a good game, and
who's at home in that game?
say what? Who's
Who's the home team?
I honestly don't know. I think it's the Packers technically, but it's in Brazil, so I mean, like, is either one of it?
Oh,
But so in my opinion, Angry Dad going
oh,
on, I am gonna say now I'm a Bears fan and I totally hate the Packers, but I will
fuck the
vote when
Packers, man.
they fuck the Packers, but I will tell you when I think they would win. But the Eagles, they are still strong. They want to prove themselves from last year. Jalen Hurts is going to
Yeah.
throw all over the fucking Packers,
Oh, dude.
and
Yeah.
this is going to be the test for Jordan Love because he's got some good
That
receivers.
motherfucker's overrated,
Oh,
dude.
I agree, but this
Overrated,
is the game that will
man.
test him because you know what he can't play against the big teams yet.
No, nah,
But you never
nah.
know, and I'm just saying, yeah, no.
Jordan Love
So
ain't.
to
He
us,
ain't. He is not him. He is not him. Jordan Love is not him. Aaron
no.
Rodgers is like who they should have resigned. Aaron Rodgers has one leg. He's still better than Jordan Love.
Oh yeah, but anyhow, yeah. So if I had to pick one this Friday, Angry Dad, it has to be the Eagles. I think,
Yeah,
and we might have
I agree.
Eagles are going to be in that NFC Championship game against the Lions, but we'll have a Super Bowl
What?
pickup.
I
I
don't know
think
about that. Let's not get crazy
NFC
here. All right,
Championship.
let's.
We're going to talk about this at the end.
The Eagles faded last year, didn't they?
They had injuries. And now So I don't know.
Anything can happen, dude. They
Anything could happen.
soft, dude. At the
Anything.
end, they got soft at the end, dude.
No,
I don't know.
I don't
Eagles
know.
got soft, man.
We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. But anyhow, let's go back to your next game. Yeah, so I do think the Falcons.
See if I can
There you
find
go,
my
Angry
pick.
Dad. Eagles, your team. I agree with you. We like you. If you said Packers, I would have to say fuck the Packers, but I have to respect
Hey,
your opinion.
Philadelphia, great
Yeah.
fucking city. Green
Oh
Bay,
yeah,
I
I
don't know
went there.
shit about it, but fuck Green Bay.
I went to Philly on my honeymoon. Loved it, and we went there.
Love Philly.
Yeah, Philly's a great place. But all right, so Soto,
Great
for
place.
your last pick, this could be the most interesting pick of the week from you. Now, do I need to
Oh.
remind you who you picked, or do we want to talk about
Oh,
this?
no.
Cardinals versus Bills. Who'd you pick to win?
Dude, no need to remind me. All right, my favorite bird is a cardinal. Okay,
What? You don't like Bill the Bird?
I don't like the
I'm
buffalo
just-
bird. I
I'm
don't.
just, all right, but in all seriousness, all right. Outside of
In all
favorite,
seriousness, dude, I just told you the fucking Cardinals my favorite
Dude,
bird. That's why I fucking picked this game because I like birds. The fucking no, like I'm not. This is not a serious pick. I understand it's ridiculous, but from a spiritual level, okay, I have to choose the Cardinals. Okay, and also, you know what? Fuck the Bills. I'm a Patriots fan. I'm gonna pick the fucking Bills. Fuck that shit. Even if it makes sense, even if the Bills are fucking favored and it's at home, I don't give a fuck. Fuck the Bills. Fuck everything about the Bills. I hate the Bills. Give me the fucking Cardinals all day, every day. That's it. That's the take. The end.
well, you know what? If Marvin Harrison can go off, this could happen. This could happen. As much as you hate the
Marvin
Bills, though,
Harrison
I have to say I can't see the Bills losing at home. But you know what? I will root for your Cardinals. Because I think but you have Josh Allen on your fantasy team.
I know.
So-
I hate
so-
myself for it. I really do. I really hate myself. That's when I
So
had to
this
pick
is-
Josh
this
Allen. I
is-
was like, "Fuck my life." You know what I mean? I was like, "I'm a fucking bitch. I'm a traitor. I'm going for the value. Like, what the fuck? Like, yeah, dude, I'm a fucking hypocrite." But in
Yeah.
this situation, fuck the Bills.
Oh, so Angry Dad. Before we go to that, yes, in the beginning we joked we're not giving the best research takes. We're just two guys just bullshitting.
Clearly.
But we are honestly, if you missed it, we are literally doing dollar parlays. Which at the end we have one more pick. This is going to be very interesting. So, but yes, he
This will be
is
the one
very
that breaks
he
it.
is very passionate. He is very passionate about his Pats, but very passionate about footballs. But let's look at the last game. I'll be honest, this game looks a little like shit, but it's the Panthers and the Saints. This is just going to be a dog shit game. And this is, hold on to the stock because this is going to come up in my parlay a little bit down the line. Carolina with Bryce Young, they're trying. They're not there. The Saints still have Kamara. They still have Carr. And I'm picking the Saints to win. I do not see I don't think the Panthers are there yet. The Saints defense is
No.
still really good.
Panthers are just the fucking Jaguars with different colors, dude.
Yeah,
Fucking
but
Panthers.
yes, in this division round, this game is going to be a little bit on the sloppy side. But yeah, Saints are beating Bryce Young and the Panthers. So, all right, so that was our 8 picks, Soto. So
Hmm.
on
Hmm.
DraftKings, we put $1 on our
Yep.
8 picks. Soto pick four, I pick four. So if we go 8 for 8, and this is the hilarious part, the odds are plus 7,920. Your Cardinals really pumped that up. So our dollar will pay us $80.20 if we are correct on all 8 of our picks. Still not too bad, you know what? But again,
Dude,
we are going to keep like our side
I
bet
will
bets
laugh
up
so hard if
against.
the Cardinals fucking win and the Bears lose. Like, you know what I mean? It's
Oh
like
my
if the
God.
Cardinals fucking win and the Bears lose, dude, that's gonna be
Anything
a
could happen.
conversation next week.
What if the Pats beat the Bengals? What if that's the game we lose on? But in all seriousness, yeah. So
Pats beat the Bengals. I'm on the bandwagon. I'm like fucking like, all right, we're going to the Super Bowl, baby.
uh, one game, Super Bowl.
Yeah,
All right, but
that's right, Super Bowl, baby.
but yeah, so there's always a chance, Angry Dad. There's always a chance, and
It's football.
so the basic $10 bet would win you $800.20 or $802. Quick math there, whatever. Oh wait, $8,000. Excuse me. Yeah, my math is totally off. Let me do the decimal points 2 spots. $100, $10 would win you 800. 100 would win you 8,000. But we only do dollars. We're
Jesus,
cheap. Yeah, we're cheap.
$100 to put at 8,000. Imagine that, dude.
I know
Wow.
I know people who do insane bets at the post office. Like I can't. Like I will do the dollar. Like fantasy is the most expensive thing I probably do betting wise because at least it lasts all season. And when you divide it up, you're like I got my money's worth. But yes, I
Yeah,
that's
I
fair to
pay
say.
$50 for my fantasy team. Like that's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah. But yeah, so that is our 8 pick parlay. Here you can see the rest of the games. I mean, the 1 o'clock game's been good. I can't wait till tomorrow because the KC Baltimore game looks obviously should be a great game. So,
Oh yeah.
um, but now, so that was our first parlay. Now, what we did was we each kind of did our own parlay. And I'm going to start with mine first because I set Soto up with what I like to call the big play parlay. You'll hit big play numbers, but I kind of went defensive. I wanted to see some shit play, and I did parlay off the people who are gonna or the teams that are gonna fucking suck. So again, all this is based on a dollar. So this is we both did a 4 leg parlay, and for the first part of my parlay. I am going to go to the Bears and the Titans, because we talked about this. Now, Will Levis has it's over under 231 passing yards. The Bears are going to swamp him. He is under that. He is not going. I don't even think he's going to hit 200. I'm dead
Wow.
serious about this. I don't think it's.
That's a
But
bold
the
statement.
line on DraftKings is 231.5. I'm taking Will Levis and the under on the passing yards. Again, I think
In
the
this
Bears
day and
defense.
age, huh?
Well, Justin Fields can barely throw for 200. So, but against that Bears D and at home in Chicago, I just, anything could happen. Don't get me wrong. He could, what I'm worried about is the garbage time throws. But, yeah, I'm taking the under. Like I said, I'm taking the shit plays, Soto. This is my fun defensive one. So that is my first pick. Will Levis under 231. I would even say under 200, but, DraftKings says under 231. Second game I looked at was the Pats and the Bengals. And the Pats offensive line sucks, 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 sucks. We've talked about this, and we'll just
Who
leave it
you
at that.
telling?
I'm
Yeah,
telling
that's
everyone.
like
I'm just telling.
I was like, I'm aware.
Hubbard is coming back, strong. He says he feels good. I'm taking over on 0.25 sacks. I actually think he'll get a full sack, even if he gets a half sack. So I am banking on this player getting over 0.25 sacks. So yes, I think the Bengals are going to sack the Patriots 3 or 4 times. Take that on the team sack.
Hell yeah.
But I'm picking him personally. I had to pick one of the ends, and I went with Hubbard. Something just told me go with this guy. He's just excited for the season, and I think he's going to show it. I think he's going to get one sack, but the line is at 0.25. So
Okay.
that's yeah. I mean, I can't see how Jacoby Brissett is not going to get sacked this game. I'm sorry.
I mean, he's gotten sacked all preseason, and he's like gotten injured. So yeah, it's gonna be good.
So those are my two.
Good time to be a Pats fan.
My third leg, I'm going back to the Panthers and Saints game, and I'm looking at the team. I told you this is going to be a dogfight. I don't think neither team's going to score a lot. The line is 41.5 points. I'm taking the under. This is going to be like a 17-14 game. There is not a lot of scoring going to happen.
Ugly.
So I took under
Yeah.
41.5 points. I mean, even if it's 21-17, but I don't see any of these teams going to be lighting it up. Saints D is good. They're going to stop Carolina,
Hmm.
but the Saints can't score that much. So yeah. that's kind of what I looked at. My final parlay, going back to the Steelers and Falcons, both these teams fucking suck. And it's going to be wet. It's going to be dirty. Now, the line is 2.5 turnovers combined.
Wet and dirty. Isn't this indoors?
Is it in Atlanta? I'm sorry. I thought it was in Pittsburgh. I kind of have it differently on my notes. You're right. Wait, no, you're right. You're right. I'm sorry.
It gets wet and dirty indoors. It's gonna be weird.
Either way, I kind of was just more exaggerating, but the bottom line is there's going to be a lot of messy play. Russell Wilson, Justin Fields, doesn't matter who's starting in Pittsburgh. They are going to drop the ball. Falcons, I don't know. So the line is 2.5 turnovers combined. I took the over. I think there's going to be 3-4 turnovers in this game.
Yeah.
Yeah. So again, I'm taking the worst plays of this week. So if you put $1 on the 4 picks I just said, it's not major, but it is something. The odds come to plus 1,205. So the dollar will win you $13.05. So yeah, I'll put $1 on it. I can't. A lot of this I can definitely see happening. So that's my parlay.
Wow.
Now
Thought about this a lot.
well, I had to do something different. I gave you the big play one. I gave you parameters. I'm like, let me go the sloppy way. You get the fun offensive parlay. I'm taking the shitty defense or the shitty offense, the good defense play.
Mm-hmm.
So for Soto, because he doesn't understand parlays and stuff like that, I
don't.
kind of had to
really
set him up. I kind of asked him for certain parameters to make it easier. So the first thing I ask you, Soto, is which QB all weekend is throwing for 300 plus yards? Who'd you pick and why? Do you?
Yeah, I picked C.J. Stroud because it's just obvious to me that game's going to be a shootout. So yeah, that was a pretty easy pick for me. But yeah, I just think that game is going to go back and forth. Of course, a week from now we're going to be totally wrong and it's going to be like 13-14. But I just can't imagine with his weapons that he has that he's not going to throw for anything short. I think he's going to be behind in the game at times, and I think that's what's going to really raise his play up. So that was the reason why I made my pick. So I think that Texans team is going to be pretty good in the AFC. So.
And I 100% agree. I know we talked about that game earlier. This is going to be a high-scoring game. I wouldn't even be surprised if C.J. Stroud gets close to 400. But the next parameter I gave you was a receiver that's going to get 100 plus yards.
Yeah.
So which one did you pick and why?
I went with Mike Evans just because I think that he's going to be just him and Baker Mayfield. Like they're going to have that connection. And I just think that that's going to be. I mean, that to me was an easy lock right there. So I forget who they're playing. I
was going to ask that. I am kind of looking that up now because that wasn't one of the ones we covered. Tampa. Oh, they're playing Washington. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's also what went into my thinking too. It's playing one of the worst defenses as well. So I think this is going to be a pretty easy pick for 100 yards. So I mean, a lot of my picks, pretty easy. Especially with my next two ones as well. So.
Well, that's that. I wanted to keep it easy for you. And next week it might be a different parameters. We don't know. We're doing these parlays for the fun of it. We're just kind of just showing Soto, and if we win one of these, we win the money. Because there's 18 weeks because everyone's gonna buy. If we do $3 a week, that's like $54. Yeah, we win one of the big ones. Like, hey, we got ahead of the year. So, but the next parameter is I asked you for a running back, only 70 plus yards. Rushing, just rushing. Yeah. So who'd you pick for that?
Breece Hall, easy pick. Number 4 pick in most people's leagues. So I think Breece is gonna be. That's a lock. He's probably getting 100 yards, and close to that. So that one was like a pretty easy one for me.
Yeah, I actually was going to have you do 100 plus yards rushing, but I'm like, it's tough this day and age with running backs. So I'm like, let's go 70 because a lot of them do, rushing and passing, those yards combined. But yeah, no, I mean Breece and they're playing they're playing San Fran. So if he can get out early, that's going to be might be a tough one. Yeah, both. Yeah, so we'll see. But if anyone, yeah, definitely. The last of your 4-leg parlay I asked you to do is just name a player, any player, to score a touchdown, whether it's rushing or receiving, but just to score anytime. I know, but you never know. Some players have bad games. Some players go for 150 yards and don't even score a touchdown. But you need to guarantee touchdown. But who'd you pick to score a touchdown at any time?
I mean, I went with Bijan. I think that Bijan's going to have a huge year. I feel like, especially with Kirk Cousins. I think Kirk Cousins is getting underrated on the Falcons. Kirk Cousins is a great quarterback, not a great quarterback, but he's a good pocket quarterback
Yeah.
with the Vikings. And I think that with Bijan and him, um, that's going to be a phenomenal 1-2 punch. And then you add Darnell Mooney to the mix. Watch out. Sorry, that's more of my fantasy team. Um,
You're just hoping there.
yeah,
Come on, Mooney.
I just think that Bijan's going to do something spectacular on week one. Um, like, I don't know, 50, 60-yard touchdown run. I don't know. That's just what I'm feeling. So that's what my intuition told me on that one. So this one felt pretty easy to me, too.
Yeah,
Even the
and
goal line, I think he's going to score. You know?
I think that's where it's going, especially against Pittsburgh. Yeah, so I mean, hopefully he breaks out that run, but we'll see. But either way, I agree with you. I mean, I know he went late first round, like maybe 6, 7 in a lot of people's drafts, kind of that area. Um, but you're right. I can't see any reason, injury aside, that he's gonna have a big year. He might, you know, he could, he could
I
get
think he's
up
got a
there.
big year. I think so. I
Exactly.
think I think he's getting slept on a little bit.
So I mean, he could be. I mean, I know McCaffrey's always considered the number one, but you know what? The way the land of offense could be, and a lot of it's going to run through him. Yeah, you
Hmm.
know, he could actually be, and I'll say now, an RB1. Um,
Hmm.
so, but
Agreed.
yeah, so all right, if you hit on all four of your picks, so yeah, there's the big play. The odds for you were like plus 4,771. So your $1 bet will win us $48.71. Not too bad. And
Nice.
I honestly think yours is more. It's funny because yours has the higher odds, but I mean, I'm pretty confident in mine, but I feel stronger about yours than mine because there's a couple like because you never know with defense because even with two bad
No.
teams, so you think defense, but sometimes they show out. Like all of a sudden, it's like a 41-35 game, and like
Hmm.
it can happen. So, but yeah, with your picks, I definitely feel pretty confident in a lot of them, especially with the teams. I would say the hardest one might be just the Brees Hall against the Niners because the Niners get up early. Jets might be throwing more than rushing, but anything's possible. Again,
Yeah.
you never know. We don't know. San Fran, like you said, the Jets. Um, fuck the Jets, as you said, but we are pretty.
Fuck the Jets
Brees Hall
and fuck the
get
Bills.
71 yards and then fuck you for the rest of the game, kind of thing. So,
Hmm.
but that was our parlays. So yeah, three of them. If we win all three, damn. Quick math, because that'd be like $140 for $3. So those are our
Ah,
parlays for this week. Again, we are just doing this for the fun of it. We are just goofing.
yes.
You'll probably see some stupid picks later on this season, but our goal is to try and do this sports podcast once a week.
Hmm.
Food parlays, picks, just whatever football. And again, we do it later. But Soto, I know we kind of teased this, but let's make a predictions. And if you had to pick right now the Super Bowl game and winner, who would you think? What would be the Super Bowl matchup, and who do you think is going to win this year? And we might revisit this
Wow.
question every now and then, but before the season starts, if you had to say what you think the Super Bowl would be, what is your
The
pick?
Super
Just just
Bowl?
just who beats who? Yep, Super Bowl. We're
Oh.
the earliest predictions. Every few weeks we might revisit this, but let's just see. Let's see, if we can guess it now. So what would you think?
Mm, I haven't thought about this at all. You know what? I'm gonna go so old school,
Oh, old
and
school.
we're gonna see what happens. But I'm gonna say San Francisco beats the Miami Dolphins.
Wow. Well, no, I mean, San Fran. I mean, it could have Miami, San
That's like an
Fran.
'80s matchup right there.
It is, but San Fran's definitely been there the last few years. And Miami, I feel like Miami's just they're on the cusp.
On the
But
cusp. Yeah.
I am going to take a pick that's going to piss off a lot of people. But mind you, this is now, and I'm just kind of looking at the landscape, and
Can we
it's
bet on
tough.
this now? Like a dollar?
No, no, no. Well, no. I mean, I guess I can look at it, but we will. I'll see. We might be able to, but anyhow, we'll talk about this off. So this, I will be honest. San Fran was up there, and I was considering them for the NFC side. I'll be honest. Miami's on my thoughts, and because as much as it pains me to say, and I know a lot of people will hate this, I am picking the Chiefs to go back to the Super Bowl, and I'm actually picking them to three-peat. I, I
Chiefs are overrated, dude.
they won the last
Chiefs
two.
are mad overrated.
Are they?
I just had this conversation earlier today. It's
How
like
are they
Chiefs are
mad
just
overrated?
they're on the decline, dude.
And yet they won the
I
Super
don't
Bowl
know.
last year.
Sure, yeah, that was the argument I
Minus
heard this morning
Tyreek Hill.
too.
They
I
lost
don't
their
care.
best receiver. But anyhow,
I
they're
think
going
they're
to beat the
regressing.
Lions. This will help your fantasy. I actually think this is the Lions' year to go to the Super Bowl. I think because they're in
I
a very
fucking hope
small
so.
window.
That would me some money.
Um, and they almost made it last year. They fucked up at the end against San Fran because they had that lead, and then they let it slide because they got to their heads, and San Fran pulled. If you remember, San Fran was down by like 3 touchdowns. They were down by a lot in the second half, and they came back. And San Fran earned it. Don't get me wrong, but I think that just shows the experience that San Fran had to what the Lions didn't have at that time. So I think the
Yeah.
Lions are going to learn their lesson, and I honestly think this is the Lions' years to make it to the Super Bowl for the first time. But I'm going to visit this in a few weeks. But if I had to pick someone from the AFC, you might say they're overrated. I don't care. Patrick Mahomes is on that Mount Rushmore.
Ugh, no, he's no.
He is. He is. Because if you look at
Mount
generations, he's
Rushmore
like
of what? There's four
QBs.
quarterbacks you could put on Mount Rushmore. What four quarterbacks do you have on Mount Rushmore right now?
If I had to sit real quick,
Yeah.
Brady, Manning, Montana, and I'd probably put Mahomes.
Based on what? Just on just
Three
Super
Super
Bowl
Bowls.
wins?
Three. The numbers.
I get. I mean,
He's got
sure.
but that's the thing. He's got the stats. He's got the numbers, and he's won with players that have left. He won after Tyreek Hill left. He's won a lot. And don't get me wrong. I told you it does not make me happy to pick the Chiefs to win 3 in a row. It does not. But I'm just saying. Right now, there's just something about the way this season's going to go where I think they're going to three-peat. Now, maybe in 3 or 4 weeks, I might think differently. But.
Hmm.
And real quick, Chad, hi,
No.
Danny Finn, how's it going? Based on your, logo there, Dolphins fan, so you like Soto Super Bowl pick, even though I think they lost. But yes, he picks the Dolphins going. And don't get, I would love to see someone different because, like you, the underdog. I would love to obviously see the Dolphins bring back the former glory and win, not just 80s because Dan Marino only went once, but yeah, I at this moment, just looking at things, I just don't see anyone in the AFC yet dethroning them. Houston, C.J. Stroud in a couple of years, in Houston Texans, I think will be up there. We'll talk about that like the next couple of years. But as far as this year, and I'm just picking early season. I know it's not a hot take, and I know a lot of people are going to be pissed at it because either people hate dynasties, as you know, being a Pats fan, people hated you for 20 years. But
So I don't give a fuck.
I know you didn't give a fuck.
20
I,
fucking years, man.
I'm just saying, when you have a dynasty, when you're the best, people hate you. But as of right now, I see the three-peat
They hate us
happening.
because they ain't us.
Yeah,
What
but
three
right now,
peats, dude? What's the last three peat that you saw in football?
never. It's never been done.
It won't be done.
Well, we'll find
I'll,
out.
I'll bet you $1. I'll bet
I'll
you
go
a
put a
fucking
dollar
dollar.
in your San Fran, Miami.
I'll bet you $1.
All this for sharing money. Well, what was that movie? What was that movie? Like, the two old men making the bet. Like, here's $1. Something I can't remember. Like Trading Places, was it? Um, I could be wrong,
What,
but
with
yeah,
Eddie Murphy and Dan Aykroyd?
yeah, Aykroyd. Yeah, there was like two old guys there. But anyhow,
Oh
we'll
yeah,
see.
yeah.
Like I said, this is just something we're going to revisit every few weeks, or we'll see what happens and make our picks. But I do
Man, I'd
think, if
rather the
anything,
Bills go to the Super Bowl than the fucking Chiefs, and I hate the Bills.
you know what, I think Allen's window has passed, though. I don't know. I think he had his
Nah,
best shot already.
it's gonna be
Yeah,
the MVP this year.
he might, but MVP doesn't
Put a
mean Super
dollar on
Bowl.
that.
Listen, we already spent our $3 for the week. I mean,
Oh,
let's not
good point, good
let's not
point.
blow our.
Good point.
Um,
Blow our budget.
we don't have much of a budget, but this is our budget. As you can see,
I can't see the Lions getting across. The Lions are another
they made it
poverty
to the
franchise.
NFC, but they made it to the NFC Championship last year,
They
and they
don't have
almost
what it
beat the
takes.
40.
They don't have
We'll
what
see.
it takes to win.
Brock Purdy has what it takes. I mean, if it wasn't for a supporting cast,
Yeah, we'll see.
and that's the thing.
We'll
It
see.
depends on injuries. It's always we'll see.
I can't wait to revisit this.
That's the point.
conversation.
I want to do this every few weeks. I have it written down, and again, I know it could change, but just as of right now, I was like, because I did think my initial thought was a rematch of last year with KC beating San Fran. That was kind of my initial gut, but I just thought the way the
Fuck
Lions
the
played
Chiefs,
last year, I know, but
It's so boring.
in my,
That was
I
it.
don't-
That's their last championship for the next 20 years. last year for the Chiefs. They won't win another one for 20 years, if they even do.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, 20 years from now, we'll visit this hot take.
We're in our 60s.
Oh my God!
I don't know,
But that's
man.
what.
I
Well,
just can't.
let's
I
just get through this
can't.
season. But anyhow, but yeah, so we'll be doing this again next week, hopefully the same time and everything like that. We'll take a look at how we did on our picks and fantasy and all that other shit. And you know what? We'll have some new week 2 picks as well. So we're
Cool.
just doing some fun parlays. But yeah, so we took a look at the 1 o'clock games, but. I think what was the game of the week? The Texans and Colts. Um,
Yeah.
Especially on Sunday, yeah, the Chiefs Ravens look strong. Lions Rams, I think Rams are going to see a different version. I think Matthew Stafford's going to come out shooting, so that actually could be a shootout game too. And Jets, fuck the Jets. So I hope the Niners just run all over him. Uh,
That'd
So
be awesome.
yeah. All right. Any last words before we end this, Soto?
Uh, fuck the Bills,
Fuck the Packers.
fuck the Chiefs, fuck the Packers, fuck the Broncos.
Wow.
Who else do I see on there? Fuck the Buccaneers.
But you have Mike
Um,
Evans, so Mike Evans needs to have a good game. And
okay.
our parlay.
Fuck the Buccaneers.
Just fuck him. I
Who
don't care
else do I
about
see?
winning.
Oh, also fuck the Cowboys, by the way. Fucking Cowboys can just fucking suck a toe. That's my final word on that.
That's all we can do. But thank you for those who joined us live and those who might be listening afterwards on YouTube for Picks, Parlays, and Pizza. Again, we'll be doing this next week, probably at the same
I
time.
love pizza.
I know. I'm a little
That's
jealous that
so
you
good.
got the pizza this week. Next week, maybe I'll bring the
You'll
pizza.
see.
We'll see what happens. There's a place down the street, Simon's. Hint, hint. We'll talk about. But anyhow,
Nice.
thank you for joining us, and I'm excited. Football season's here, and I'm ready to go.
Let's go. Let's do this.